Hello and welcome once again, fellow goof people. I am, as always, your host, Tom Jr. Jackson, and welcome to another episode of Something Something Chat Show. Tom Jr. Jackson presents the Chat Show interviews. This is episode 2. Our guest today is the one and only Paul from Twin Flicks, and we're going to get to him just in a moment. But first, I want to do a little house cleaning. Uh, Please remember to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Share. All my episodes are in playlists. So if you want to do a binging of anything, feel free to do that as well. Um, please check out and subscribe to the Burnett Work, Positive Fandom, um, After the Sequels, which is run by good friend to the show, Maria Espino. Fantastic channel. She is doing a Star Wars fan film. Okay. Okay. Here I am. Sorry for the delay. Oh boy. All right. So let's see. Check out after the streams. Check out Positive Fandom. Check out the Burnett Work, and check out Ray Lytle's Morning Disaster. That's at morningdisaster.net, where you can sign up on their Patreon page and be able to watch their show. It's an amazing show. It's funny. Ray Lytle has been in the business for more than 30, 40 years. He's done radio. Now he's doing a video podcast. It's a great show. Check it out. So now I'm going to bring on my guest. Please welcome to the show, Paul from Twin Flicks.
Hey guys, how's it going? Good to be here.
Sorry for the problem. I have the world's worst internet, as we can all see.
But you have the world's greatest piano behind you.
Yes, I do.
That's good.
And also, I want to welcome my lovely, lovely moderator, Irene Jobson. Everybody loves Irene.
Hey,
and
Irene, how's it going?
You can find her on all the chats here, folks. She's great. So, how's it going, Paul?
It's going. I mean, we're living one day at a time, like all of us are.
Yes, that is so true.
This is it's a little hard this month because this month is the second year after our dad passed away, and we were really close to our dad, and he's the one that actually got inspired us and motivated us to get into filmmaking, and he was always there championing us, and he bought a high 8 camera. And he allowed us, because this was in the early 90s, so it cost almost a fortune. But he allowed us to use it to make our little short films. And eventually we broke the camera because of doing all the different techniques and stuff. And then when he would buy a new one, he would still allow us to do it because he knew that's what we loved. So we were really close to our dad. So it's been a hard month, but we're getting through it.
You know what? We're gonna do the show for your dad. So we'll dedicate it to him. And I understand that. I've been there. It's been 13 years for mine. So, I completely understand how that could be. Don't worry, it's just water.
Oh, I thought you were gonna get drunk on us.
Yes, that's right. No, I've been through one stream, and that was last night, and that went terrible. It went bad. It went so bad it will never see the light of day.
Oh wow, Tom, there's a little bit of a feedback. I think when you stop talking, I hear a little bit of a feedback. It's kind of coming through the.
Oh yeah, like a horn.
Yeah, is that?
Yeah, that's outside. I have to have the window open. It's hot in here. I live next to a fire station.
Oh wow,
folks! You get the real world here. Where else are you not going to get the real world but here?
That must be hard at night when you're trying to sleep.
Well, no, they don't really. It doesn't go off like in the middle of the night. I think they have a time where it doesn't go off.
Oh, okay.
Because of sound and stuff, but.
Yeah, I live down the street from a fire station, and one of the best things about living next to a fire station is that you're on their electrical grid. So if their electricity goes on in other neighborhoods, it pretty much stays on in our neighborhood because they keep it's on a separate grid with the fire station. So that's kind of a cool thing, living by the fire station like that.
I just realized why you were hearing the feedback. My phone the volume was up just a little bit, and I'm like, oh, that's
okay.
Me I hear. So
that's you.
Oh, good, yes. So how can I put this? How long have you been making movies?
Well, Simon and I, my twin brother Simon, we I'll tell you, we saw E.T. when we were 4 years old in the theater, and I still clearly remember sitting in the theater watching, especially the ending on screen. And even at such a young age, at 4 years old, that was it. We loved movies, and of course, we were way too young to understand how movies were made at the time. But Irene, I got a twin brother, Simon. We're identical twins as well, and so as we got older in our teenage years, we started getting more and more into movies and especially with Laserdisc, because at the time there wasn't DVD, Blu-ray. Laserdisc had a lot of special features on there. And so, especially a commentary from the filmmakers. And so they would explain how they made the movie. And so Simon and I would actually watch the movies, study it, how it's made, and then we would listen to the commentary and watch all the behind the scenes footage and to understand, how did they block this shot? How did they make this happen? What did they do when something went wrong? And then, so we started making short films ourselves, just homemade short films, to try to hone our technique. And what's interesting is that we had one camera, but we would use it where we would cut and put the camera in all these different random places, so that it looked like we had more than one camera and different angles. And we actually sent in, it's over here. Just a second, let me grab it. Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back. And we actually sent in a short film that we made when we were 16 years old to Steven Spielberg. And he didn't personally write us back. It's from Amblin Entertainment's PR director. But still, it's pretty cool to have this, and we framed it. And every time we would keep that in our room, and every time we look at it, it would motivate us to keep going. And then when we were old enough, we started making actual short films with actors, hone our technique. And that's the best way. If you're into filmmaking in any level and want to get into filmmaking, make short films to cut your teeth on, because you learn how to do it. You learn how to make films. That's the best way. And then when we moved to California, we moved to Simi Valley, which is a suburb of LA, when we were 19, I think. And then we had some contacts. A couple of friends of ours went into the industry, and so we got in the door through our contacts. And then we just excuse me. And then we just started working various jobs in different movies, script reading. Then we moved into special effects, helped out with that, and we just kind of bounced around throughout the years. And then I went into, excuse me, and we were there for about 10 years, and then we moved here to Texas. And then I started my own studio, and because Texas is becoming a huge for filmmakers, especially Austin area. And so I started my own studio and started making short films, started making music videos. I got in contact with a producer whose name is Monica, and she would produce low budget indie movies. And she introduced us to some investors. And so we just started making films and short films that way. And then, it doesn't really pay a whole lot. So on the side, I would do like videography for weddings and events to put bread on the table. But that's really what we did. And in the middle of it was great too, because, we made a lot of contacts in Hollywood. I still have some friends there, writer friends, actor friends, some director friends. We met, a lot of famous people. So it was great. And then in 2011, I had a herniated disc and pinched nerve. And they told me I had to go in for surgery. So I went into surgery, and the surgeon ended up botching the surgery. left me with permanent nerve damage in my back, leg, and foot, and permanent muscle damage. And so I couldn't work the business anymore. I couldn't make films anymore because of that. And so I actually sold the business to my younger brother. And, and I was thinking, I want to get this creativity out. I want to get my knowledge out and share it with other people. I can't just sit here. And so that's when I started my YouTube, started my YouTube channel in 2016 or 2017. And I've been doing that ever since. And met Robert Burnett. And that's how me and you met. Did you fall asleep, Tom?
No, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here.
I looked down and it looked like you fell asleep. No, yeah. So and then that's how me and you met. And then we had something in common too, because your dad passed as well, right? About,
right.
Was it 12 years ago?
Yeah.
And so we really haven't done much since 2011 as far as filmmaking, because I just can't do a whole lot. But still, that passion and a drive is always there. And we're thinking about making maybe a little short film this year soon, and see what happens. But yeah. Let's see here. Irene says on the chat, says my stepdad, ex-stepdad, he lives near Austin. Oh, okay. Yeah, Austin's about, we're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, so Austin's about 4 hours from there.
Return of the Disc is asking, what is the film that had the most impact on you as a kid or a teenager?
Well, like I already said, at 4 years old, E.T., definitely, because that's what really sparked, ignited the spark, even at that young age. Later on, Spielberg, of course, was heavily influenced, and then I started getting into Scorsese and all the greats. It's really hard because I can. If someone asks me it's like asking, what's your favorite movie? I can't name just one favorite movie. But
well, what's your favorite movie? No, I'm kidding.
But
no, I get that. That's like asking what's your favorite kid. It's like asking someone that. Or what's your favorite song? And
yeah, I can't narrow it down to just one favorite movie, one favorite director. Just let anybody out there know, Scorsese is one of my favorite directors, and Return of the Disc and myself, we're actually doing a Scorsese director spotlight over on my channel. We're going to be doing that probably at the end of the month. So that should be fun if anyone's interested.
Are you getting the 4K for Hugo?
Yes, I did.
Oh, nice! I got that coming. I think next week or something like that.
Yeah, I ordered this from Diabolic DVD, and I got it, I think, a week early.
Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I just can't name. I mean, Fight Club also was a huge impact on us. That movie is just. I mean, when that movie came out in '99. Simon and I went to go see it, and everybody in the theater left during that movie except for me and Simon, because I guess at that time it was really controversial and people couldn't take it. Now it's considered a classic. It's kind of like a One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest type classic, and yeah, but that impacted us because we were 99, so we were 21 when that came out. And
I was 99. Yeah, I was about 21, 22, something like that. Because E.T. came out 82?
Yeah, 82.
So I was 7 when that came out.
So you were born 74, right?
Yes, 75.
75.
I was just about to say I was born 85. Yes, I was born in 1985, and I saw E.T. in 1982. Go figure.
Yeah. I'm born I was born in 78. And
I got another question here, which is a great one. Return of the Disc is going to see Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning soon. Can you guys give me your spoiler-free thoughts?
Sure.
I can actually sum it up without even spoiling the movie at all. And it's this.
Oh, did you freeze up on us? Looks like Tom freezed up on us.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay.
Here I am. I'm going again. Yeah, here I am.
Okay.
I'm back. It's nonstop action. There's not a moment that you have to catch your breath. There's maybe a little tiny moment, but the action in this movie is amazing. And as Chris McCrory has said in interviews, when they make these films, after they're done and they've watched them in the editing room, Tom Cruise will go, we can do this better. And he's always looking to do the next best thing better, the next stunt better. He says, you think you've seen everything with this movie? Wait till part 2 comes out. And that should be hopefully next June.
Yeah,
depending
next
on
year.
if they can. Yeah, hopefully if they can, get everything done. But I mean, now you got the strike that's going to happen. So,
well, the strike's not going to affect that. The strike only affects things that are going into production. But so that movie's done. It's already locked. I think they're just finishing, maybe sprucing up the effects and things like that. But it's locked, so the strike won't affect that.
And I know that Tom Cruise's next film that he's been preparing. He's going to space, folks. He's going to be the first civilian to go into space and do a spacewalk. A lot of the stuff will be done on Earth, but he is going to space. He's working with NASA. He's working with SpaceX on this to do this. The man loves to do as much as he can for as long as he can. He wants to play in these roles.
You froze again. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hey, it's my show now.
Hey. Yeah. Okay. If this should happen again, keep going. Just vamp. That way, it's not dead air.
Okay.
Yeah. I love these film. I love the film. It's a fun film, and it doesn't. And I think maybe you would agree. It doesn't feel as long as the runtime is. It doesn't feel long at all.
Yeah. I will say this. Again, spoiler free, so no spoilers here. Mission Impossible was great, and like you said, there was a lot of action in it, but the pacing was so well done. And that they did have scenes where you were able to catch your breath a little bit with some exposition and dialogue. But still, you would feel that suspense even during that. And that's something that I had a problem with Indiana Jones and Dial of Destiny. To me, the pacing was off because it was like every single scene had to have an action scene. Even exposition dialogue was intercut or was interfered by a big action scene. So it started becoming, when I was watching the movie, I was predicting, well, this is going to be an action scene here. That's going to be an action scene here. That's the difference, because Mission Impossible, you didn't feel that way. You didn't feel, okay, well, this is going to be another action scene, because it was so well done and you were locked into the movies. And so, yeah, I mean, Mission Impossible was great. I will say that it's like 2 hours and 43 minutes. It doesn't 100% feel like it's almost 3 hours. I will say, though, that I think the ending during one action scene in particular did drag a little bit, but I'm not going to complain about it because it was awesome.
And it's that little scene. It's a little thing, but it's not a bad movie at all.
Oh no, not at all. No,
it is a lot of fun. It was fun, and I enjoyed it.
Let's see, what does JH Edits say?
Dead Reckoning was amazing, nonstop action that just keeps building and building.
Yeah, and I would say it's not 100% just action, it's more suspense that keeps building and building. Because, like I said, Indiana Jones, Tyler Disney had tons of action, but to me, it felt like, okay, can we have a breather here? Can we build some suspense instead of just action, 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 action? And that's what Mission Impossible did. Is it would have a great, amazing action sequence, and then it would give you time to breathe and kind of, um, to tell the story in a way that was also done suspensefully. And so, yeah, I mean, I prefer Dead Reckoning way over Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny, but it's a great movie. And probably, I think it's probably the best summer movie that we've had so far.
And I read that Chris McQuarrie at one point debated on de-aging Tom Cruise at one point in the film. He debated on it and then decided not to do it.
There's no reason. I don't think there's any reason
still
to
looks
de-age.
good for his age. He looks good for his age.
Well, I've always been a fan of, because you can always tell when someone's been de-aged. And that was another gripe I had with Indiana Jones. Even though it looked better than past movies that had de-aging, you could, if it depended on the lighting and the camera angle, you could still see that uncanny valley. And I've always been a big fan of, if there's a flashback scene that stars the main actor like Harrison Ford, who's in his 80s, and you're doing a flashback scene that's 30 years earlier, cast someone else that resembles him. I hate de-aging. It works so much better. The audiences don't care. They don't care if as long as they look similar, just hire a younger actor, because also his voice, Harrison Ford's 80-year-old voice, did not match the de-aging of younger Harrison Ford. One thing I want to point out here, JH Edits says Mission Impossible 7 was a callback to the first movie, and I loved it. Yeah, 100%. Especially having Kintridge back.
Yes.
Let's see here. They handled, JHS says they handled the flashbacks perfectly without de-aging. Yeah, exactly. My personal feeling, you don't need de-aging, and I would never have de-aging if I was to make a movie. Return of the Disc says later, guys. Oh, see you guys. See you. Return of the Disc. Yeah, I mean, it was a great movie. I'm really looking forward to seeing. This year's been kind of a slog with movies that they've been good, but they haven't been anything great. But Mission Impossible, I think, is great. Really fun, good movie.
Yeah, it was, and I kind of wanted to yell to them, roll that again. I want to watch that again.
Yeah, I can't wait to see.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see part 2. And that's another thing that they handled a lot better too, is like say Dune part 1, where it just kind of ended.
Well, Dune 1 really was all set up. It was introduction and setup. It wasn't anything big. I mean, I loved it. And I was interested. I didn't know anything about it. Never read the book. I really liked it. But it just ends. It just, the way it ends. And I think it was just like, it felt like the whole thing was just an intro.
Yeah, and that's the one thing with Dead Reckoning Part 1, is that it actually has a conclusion that makes you think, okay, this is Part 1, and we can't wait for Part 2. Dune didn't really have that. It just kind of ended. JH Edits says, did you guys see Sound of Freedom? No, I haven't, but I really want to. I
have not seen it.
It's actually not playing here.
Last movie I saw before this was Joyride. And I had a blast with that movie. It wasn't when I heard about it from Rob. And then I was like, I got to check this movie out. And it's the female version of The Hangover, practically. But it's not a remake of it or anything like that. It's a totally original film. But it's hilarious. And it's an adult comedy. It's raunchy. It's got a sex scene in this movie that it's one that you don't expect to see, but it is great and it's funny. And the girls that are in this film are great. Because
Yeah.
one of them is Stephanie Hugh, I think her name is. She was in Everything Everywhere All at Once. She was the daughter.
Oh, okay.
She's in this film, and she's great in this film. She's really, really funny. She's got a big career ahead of her. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially
I
with,
haven't.
especially
I
she's
was.
had that relationship with the directors of Everything Everywhere All at Once. She's been in a lot of their short films and stuff. So that's
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
she was in. So
I haven't seen it.
yeah,
Oh, you know what last month was the 30th anniversary to Jurassic Park.
yeah,
I picked this up. Universal has these put this out as like a special edition for the 30th anniversary. Um, it's a great. What is that? Is that a
this is the
yeah?
visual history.
Oh, okay, a
This
book.
is this is a great book. This is like a 95, I know, a $70 book. You got it for like 50 from Amazon, and it's got all these cool things in it, like what do you call them? Those storyboards and like pieces of the script and the whole story of how the first three films are made.
Yeah. J.H. Edda says Jurassic Park is the goat. Well, and the T Rex ate a goat. Best part of the movie. Uh,
No,
that's
the
pretty
best part of
cool.
the movie was the lawyer getting eaten on the toilet.
And this is pretty cool too because this is a limited edition, so it's got a card certificate, uh, authenticity. So this is number 2,461 out of 5,000. So only 5,000 of these were produced. So it's got lobby cards. It's got a film cell from the negative, and of course you got the movie. But
Yeah.
yeah, I just had to get this because I'm sure you remember this when the film first came out. Lines around the block. I mean, this movie was sold out for months when it came
Yes,
out.
93. I mean,
Yep.
it was 93. I remember it coming out. I remember Jurassic Park being out. I
The
remember, I think,
Fugitive.
the Fugitive. I think Jumanji, the first one as well. I could be
I think that
wrong
was
on that.
later. That was later. I think that was like 95, 96.
Yeah.
Um,
But I
but
do remember Jurassic Park being out, and I remember, yeah, I remember watching that and not and expecting to see the old standby of the stop motion stuff, but then
yeah.
seeing those dinosaurs in it blew me away.
Well, what was so great about this, though, is that Spielberg knew he couldn't just do 100% CG because it just wasn't there yet. And he also knew, though, that mixing it between practical effects and CG is what works best than just CG. And Phil Tippett, who's the godfather of stop motion, or the father of motion, and then I would say, oh man, name escapes me now. Harryhausen was the
Mm-hmm.
grandfather of stop motion. But Phil Tippett even said to him, this will work better if you use practical mixed with CG. And it totally works. I think JH Edits asked if it comes with any Spielberg content. It's just the same. The Blu-ray or the 4K is really just the same as the previous 4K that was released. So it's got some making of and some behind the scenes on it as well.
And as a matter of fact, I think it's on Netflix. It's the Movies That Made Us. They actually do a great look into the first Jurassic Park movie and the making of it.
Yeah, exactly. I got this in from MVD to review. Killzone. You ever heard of this movie?
Okay. No, I never heard of that one.
So I've never seen this. I've heard of it, but I've never seen it. But I guess it came out in the 80s, like when Rambo was like all the rage. And, lower indie studios would make their own version of Rambo or different movies, popular movies. So I haven't even opened it yet. I haven't watched it yet, but it sounds interesting. I guess it's about a colonel that goes to a camp for veterans, and he's so traumatized from the Vietnam War that he starts hallucinating and thinking that all the people that work there and all the other residents of the camp are Viet Cong, and so he goes insane and starts killing everyone, and then they have to try to stop him. So I'm looking forward to checking that one out. I think it's out now. I think you can buy it now. A couple others I got here was Motel Hell and Creepshow.
Okay, I remember Creepshow. I used to love that movie when I was a kid.
Yeah, and if people are watching and they don't know, on my channel I do these Blu-ray versus 4K comparisons. So I take the previous Blu-ray and I compare it with screenshots from the movie, and I compare it with screenshots to the 4K. And I just did one for both of these, and yeah, I mean, the differences are always amazing between the Blu-ray and the 4K. And then, if you don't mind, I wanted to talk a little bit about this Invaders from Mars.
Okay, go right ahead.
Now, I bring this out in my review, so I'm going to just kind of give a brief synopsis of what happened. When this was made in 1953, it didn't play well overseas. And so the producer had things reshot, but also altered the original negative. And because of that, the original negative was damaged, and only elements of the negative survived. And so anytime this came out on home media, they couldn't restore it from the whole 35 millimeter negative because it was damaged. And so what they did is they inserted still photos of scenes from the movie to kind of band-aid the live action. And so in the middle of live action, you suddenly see this quick still photo, and then it goes back to live action. And that's all they could do with this at the time. And Ignite Films actually went back and found the original elements. They went all over the world looking for different source material to draw from. They did that, and they spent 5 years restoring this and patching it back up to its original intended presentation. And honestly, I think Ignite Films made the impossible possible, because no other studio wanted to even try that because it was too expensive, or they just didn't figure, what's the point? It's not worth it. So I shot a video for this last night, and I'm hoping to have it up maybe this weekend. But it's really interesting, the history of this.
So subscribe to Twinflix channel, folks, and you'll get great comments. Great content.
I'll give you some great comments.
And folks, this is Paul from Twinflix. I know some of you in the chat think he looks just like Quentin Tarantino. This man looks nothing like Quentin Tarantino, folks. I just want to say that now.
Yeah, it wasn't my fault that someone thought I looked like Tarantino. Anyways, I'm not going to get too much into it, but right. that was crazy. Now let's look at the comments. What do we have here?
Let's see. Well, it's mostly, for some reason, they're talking about Dawson's Creek.
Oh, Mill Creek sent me the complete series of Dawson's Creek. I've never seen it, and I still have it.
You know what? It's not a bad little show, and considering the people that were on that show now and the careers they've gone off into, it's really interesting to see where they started out from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, especially you have Michelle Williams, who really she really has gone on to do some really good things. She did the Marilyn Monroe movie, and then you have
Michelle Williams, fantastic actress. I mean, she's been nominated for a couple of Best Actress awards, Academy Awards. J.H. Edit says Paul kind of reminds me of Philip Seymour Hoffman. I'm not sure I hope you're kidding, because I don't think I look anything or sound like anything like him, but I think he's just playing off of what you said about Someone thinking
Tarantino.
Tarantino.
I just thought I'd get that out there. One
Yeah.
of my favorite things that I have, and it's right here, is the Hitchcock collection.
Oh, nice.
This is the Blu-ray set, and it has like Rope and Saboteur and Psycho and Vertigo, which I really, really like Vertigo, because watching it, I picked up immediately that movie is the ultimate obsession movie. It really is about obsession in a big way. Because I was watching it, I'm like, this guy's obsessed. He wants the girl to look exactly the way the other girl looked. No, put your hair this way. You got to look just this way. You look just like her. And I'm like, this is just creepy. It was creepy, but it was great. But I also love North by Northwest.
Yeah, Vertigo, North by Northwest are two of my favorites. I think Strangers on a Train and what's that one called? I forget what that one's called. No, not Psycho. It was actually remade.
Strangers on a Train was remade into
no, not Strangers on a Train. It was remade in the 90s called A Perfect Murder, but it was called something else.
Yeah, it was Throw Mama from the Train. That's literally a remake. It's a deviated remake, but it's a comedy wise, and it works perfectly, and it fits so well into that movie how they did that. And
sorry, the movie I was thinking was Dial M for Murder.
Yeah, that's it.
I love that one, and if you guys don't know what it's about, check it out because it's real suspenseful. This rich couple, and he hires. His wife is cheating on him, having an affair, and he finds out, and her husband finds out about it, and so he goes and bribes the guy that if he kills his wife, then he'll give him a certain amount of money. And it turns into like really twists and turns. It's really good. Yeah, Dial M was Hitchcock, JH edits, and that's definitely one of my favorite ones. It was remade in the 90s, like I said, called A Perfect Murder with Michael Douglas and Gwyneth Paltrow, which is a good one too. I like that one too, from the director of The Fugitive.
Right.
But yeah, Alfred Hitchcock is great. I mean, there's a reason why he's called the master of suspense.
And Alfred Hitchcock, but most people don't realize it. He was a huge fan of comedy as well. And he was really good friends with Mel Brooks. And there's this famous story where he would go out for lunch with Mel Brooks, and he'd order like 2 steaks, 2 baked potatoes, and 2 chocolate shakes. And he would eat them, and they'd all have lunch.
Oh, guess he froze. I agree, JH. Vertical is a masterpiece, and North by Northwest is a great one too. I love that one too as well. I'm hoping that North by Northwest gets a 4K master because that would look beautiful in 4K. Let's just showcase a couple more that releases. I got this. Anyone pick this up? The Truman Show. I got this as well. We're just showing. You're back?
I'm back.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I was just showing that I picked up the Truman Show. Okay, so you were talking about Hitchcock having one?
Yeah, Hitchcock was a fan of Mel Brooks because Mel Brooks told him about High Anxiety, which, if you haven't seen it, folks, is one of the greatest send-up of Hitchcock movies. It's got a little bit of all the Hitchcock things in it. And if you know Hitchcock movies, you'll be able to pick them out. And there was a scene where Mel Brooks is supposed to be running away from the bad guys, and he jumps onto a ferry. And this was a suggestion by Hitchcock. It was like Mel Brooks was going to run away from these bad guys. He was going to jump onto a ferry, only for the ferry to be coming in instead of going out.
Oh, yeah.
And he loved the idea, but it was too much money to actually do that. but he loved that idea, and he loved how Hitchcock loved the film. He was a huge fan of High Anxiety, and I think really deep down, if you watch a lot of Hitchcock's films, he does put some humor into it. Like
Well,
one of my favorites also is Rope, which is
that's a good one too.
It's an underrated movie. It's not really well known, and it plays out like a play because it was based on a play, but it is such a great movie of watching someone trying not to crack under pressure, knowing that something has happened, and the other guy's like, no, it's fine, we'll be fine, and you got one guy trying not to break from this and go crazy from it.
Yeah,
it's great, and it's great. Jimmy Stewart's in it as well. But
I tell you, I mean, you can see Alfred Hitchcock's sense of humor. He has a really dark sense of humor. Just look at the trailer. The trailer alone for Psycho is hilarious.
It is, and the fact that he went and he did all that promotion for it. That's why a lot of theaters now, at some point, they don't let you into a movie halfway through because of the thing that Hitchcock came up with. Once the movie is started, don't let someone in because you'll ruin the film for them. You know, and don't discuss it when you're done.
Irene says, I don't know if I watched Rope, but maybe I have. Oh, come on. You have Alzheimer's already? Come on, man.
Oh, Irene is a bit younger than us. She's Irene is about 16. No, she's 16. About she's 25, and she has about 9 kids under the age of 8.
Well, that explains your forgetfulness then.
Yes. But she's a great person. She's a lot of fun. And
you have 36 kids? I know what you mean.
She's 36, but whenever she comes into a chat, she's a lot of fun. Like Rob loves her. RM from Positive Fandom loves her.
I've seen her a couple times on the shows. But yeah,
she's great. She's great, and she and I text almost every day when, unless the kids are going crazy, then she's like, sorry, got to go wrangle my kids. So
are they? Let me ask you, Irene, are they boy and girls, or what are they? Because my mom had 4 boys. Two of them were twins. 4 boys, no girls, and she always says if she can get through 4 boys, raising 4 boys, she can get through anything. So I have a question for you, Tom. A couple questions for you.
Go ahead.
Because a lot of times, she has 2 girls and 1 boy. That's good. That's a nice mix. So when do you sleep?
I sleep. I sleep.
It's funny because it's like I see you doing a live show early in the morning, then I see you do a live show in the afternoon, then I see you do live show at night, then late at night. I'm like, when do you sleep, man?
I get invited on other people's shows as well, and then I moderate for like about 6 different channels.
Yeah,
and I do pretty well. I do get my sleep. I probably get about sleep is for the weak.
Oh, then I guess I'm weak because if I don't get my 6 hours, I'm gone.
I get about 4 to 5 hours worth of sleep, but I've never, had a problem with it. Maybe once in a while I'll take a little nap. Like if it's hot, I'll have to take a nap because it wipes you out, But oh yes, I get 6. Yes, Irene. Oh, because well, Irene is up all hours of the night sometimes because of kids.
The problem with me is that I've always been a night owl anyways, ever since I can remember. I've always stayed up late, but now that I have the nerve damage and muscle damage, it's really hard to be comfortable to sleep because all of a sudden, like it'll feel like, well, if I'm laying down trying to sleep, I feel like someone's stabbing knives in my foot or in my back. So that keeps me up. And honestly, I usually don't get to sleep until around between 3:30 and 4:30 in the morning, and then I wake up around 11:30, and that's just because of my back. But
Sometimes
yeah,
I'll go to bed about 3, and then I'll get up about 7:30, 8 o'clock.
wow, I can't do that. That's crazy. Because I mean, I was just wondering because it's like I see you online all the time, not just your channel, but Rob's channel and other people's channel, and
Yeah,
it's pretty
and I was
consistent
actually
and funny.
on the Phantasmagorium channel last night. We did a great panel on a discussion about all the Indiana Jones films. Went great till one of the panelists decided that he was going to go rogue and just uh, be a problem and
Uh,
a little bit crazy. And we thought we would be able to edit it, but it was so not salvageable.
wow.
And it was bad, and it will never see the light of day. But
So
honestly, folks, the Phantasmagorium show is a great channel. Check them out. They really know what they're doing. Catherine, who is on the channel, she hosts these retrospectives. I think they did a whole retrospective on like James Bond films. Yesterday they did one for Live and Let Die. They did a whole thing on all the Batman films, all the Spider-Man films.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
and
were
she
you guys?
also has a show on the network called Cat's Corner, where she shows off her immense physical media collection. She has a huge media collection.
Nice.
Huge.
Now, were you guys? Was it Dial of Destiny that you were talking about that got?
We did Dial of Destiny last week. No, not last week. The week before.
Oh, okay. All
And
right.
we were just doing a wrap up of all 5 films and what did we think about them, and how did we rank them all
5
together.
films.
Yeah,
No,
5 films.
there's only 3. There's only 3.
Well, I enjoyed the Dial of Destiny. I only had
It was fine. I mean, I didn't.
I'm going to tell you the problem I have with this movie, and it's not the movie itself. It's the fact that no one liked Shia LaBeouf in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. They didn't like his character.
Well, hang on. I liked him when he first showed up. When he did his entrance, or when he arrived and he was at the college, that whole scene is great. When he's in the diner and they do those maneuvers, where he puts a Coke or beer or whatever down on the table, and then he takes it and puts it on the waitresses. They play around a lot. And I really like that. I really like the whole chase scene in the college campus. It was kind of like after they got to, I guess, the second half of the film and on, I didn't like. And I didn't hate Shia LaBeouf's character, but I hated the way that he did things, such as like, swinging on the vines with the monkeys. That was dumb. Indiana Jones is scared to death of snakes, and he's in a quicksand. And instead of throwing him something else, he throws him a huge python or whatever it was.
Yeah,
that was dumb. But I didn't.
Some of those things are the things that Shia, when he was on the press tour for the movie, said, "Look, I'm sorry, with the whole monkey swinging thing and this and that," and he kind of, in a way, backhandedly trashed the movie.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
Spielberg get mad at him for that, saying, "Look, there's a time that you tell the truth, and then there's a time you got to sell the cars, and this is a time you're supposed to be selling the cars, as they say." But here's the thing: is that Catherine actually brought this up last night, and this is a great thing. So, in Dial of Destiny, you have Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Her character is insulting Indiana Jones left and right at one point. She's, just insulting him. And then you have Shia, who's doing that in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Now, people got mad at her for the things her character was saying to Indiana Jones. But yet no one got mad at Shia, when his character's like, well, oh, what are you? Oh, I'm a teacher. Oh, you're a teacher. Oh, great. This is all we need, or something like that. And she was like, well, is it okay for one person to insult him like that? But then you get another person that does it and it's not okay. Why one over the other? And I said to her, it's because sometimes, and it's not everyone, but there's a small group of people that just don't like women in certain roles being a certain way. And it's not an insult to anyone here that I'm saying it this way, but it's true that there are people that just don't like it if there's a woman in a movie and she's upstaging the main character, or she's being the hero or something like that.
Yeah.
And that goes into the negativeness of some fans that are out there. And I remember a lot when I was younger, as you go to a movie, you enjoy it, and if you don't like it, you say, oh, I didn't like the movie, and that was it. You just didn't tell someone, I didn't like the movie, don't go see it. And
Well,
if you liked it, why are you liking this? It's a terrible movie. Why do you like it? No one would ever say anything like that when I was a kid, but nowadays it's that.
yeah.
There are certain group of people that do that, and I feel
Well,
that
I think the main reason is because of social media. Everybody thinks they have power now to voice their opinion, and who's going to stop them? Nobody. So, before social media, sure, you had some people say, hey, did you like the movie? No, it was trash. Don't go see it. But overall, you couldn't hear people trashing a movie like you do now.
right.
And that's so social media has opened the door to that. I want to say that,
But like I tell people, everybody is not going to like what you do, and it's okay if you don't like a movie, but I do. And if I don't like a movie that you do, if I don't like a movie that you don't, that's perfectly fine, because it's it's okay. It's your opinion. It's my opinion. My opinion for whenever I do a review is not the end all be all definite answer of this is what it is, and you have to agree with that, because I would never put that onto someone.
yeah, yeah. I'll just I'll just say with Dial Destiny, a couple things I did not like about it was to me it was missing that wit and charm, that Spielbergian wit and charm. Um, Such as like when certain accidents would happen and it would work out for him. He didn't give that smile he would give, from the side of his mouth, that corner smile that he would give, or he didn't say a line like even in Crystal Skull when he in the beginning when he tried to swing from the lamp and he landed in the front seat of the Jeep of the bad guys. He said, "Damn, I thought that was closer." Destiny didn't have any of that, and then I think that the action scenes, like the scene that where they're in those two cars, I don't know what they call them, but the two cars, and they have that big chase through the streets.
They're called cut tuts.
Okay, yeah, to me it just didn't feel fun. It felt like
Because they were putting all that exposition into it, where, if only I had a godfather who would,
you could even do that but you could even do that in a fun way. I mean, Spielberg has done it in a fun way. I don't know. It just did not have that wit and charm that you expect from Indiana Jones. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a trash movie, but it's definitely, I liked it better than Crystal Skull, but it's to me, I would just say it's a fine movie. I didn't love it. I need let me ask you one more question here.
Yeah.
On your channel, you review a lot of movies too as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever had requests? I'm just curious about this. Have you ever had requests for certain movies from people that
if I can find them, and if I had them,
Okay.
But
Okay.
what movie did you want to request?
Oh no, I didn't want to request one. I was just curious because there's been sometimes where somebody's like request a movie from me, and that movie just didn't interest me to
Right,
review.
it's that, and then it's also, can I find it and watch it?
Yeah.
Because if I
Okay.
can't find it and watch it, I can't. There's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
the Ewoks Battle for Endor. Irene, I remember seeing that when it first came out on
On
television.
TV. Yep. Me too. What does J.H. Edis say here?
To be fair, he did some of that in the opening. Hold on. To be fair, he did some of that in the opening sequence, but the older version wouldn't be that way considering where he was in life.
That's another thing. That's another thing I don't like about some of these sequels is why do they always have to make an older version of a character be grumpy, living in a dark place, like Luke Skywalker. He was grizzled, old, grumpy. Harrison Ford, grizzled, old, grumpy. Why do they always have to do this? Why can't they just make him be a normal, you know, Indiana Jones lived this huge adventurous life. Why do they have to make him old and grumpy? I mean, I understand because of Mutt and his separation from Marion, but still.
That's what I was trying to get at. So the reason that when they were going to do this one, someone asked, "Will Mutt be in it?" And I think it was David Kep who said no, because the reception was not good for Shire or the character. So
Well, I'll tell
they're
you.
not going to include him. And so the way not to include him was they were going to, spoiler alert, folks, they killed him off.
Well,
And
I'll
some
tell
people
you
were like,
what.
"Well, I would have liked to have seen that, so I would have seen it happen." I'm like, "No, you wouldn't. You don't want to see
Well, here's
that."
the thing. I'll tell you what. And I've heard this from people that's worked on movies and has worked with Spielberg. Shia LaBeouf has pissed off Steven Spielberg too many times. Back in the day, I mean, he grew a huge ego. He thought that he was the king of the world, and he thought he was better than even the directors. Like everything he knew was right, and he wasn't afraid to show that. And then he got involved in heavy drinking and drugs and all this stuff. And Spielberg ditched him because Spielberg was making him a star. He's the one that put him in Transformers. He's the one that put him in Indiana Jones. He talked about Mutt becoming the new Indiana Jones back in the day. So he was trying to make Shia LaBeouf a star because he saw that this guy can act. And then he just completely pissed it away. And so Spielberg, even though he's not involved by name, Spielberg didn't want. Plus, where Shia LaBeouf is right now, I don't think he's in a good place to act. Because I saw an interview with him with John Bernthal. I don't know, it's a great interview. I don't know if you've seen it, but he talks about where he's not in a place now where he wants to act anymore. That he actually started this urban teaching school in LA, and that's what he's doing now, and that's what he's focusing on now. So even if they offered it to them, he probably would have just said no on that.
He was great in the Peanut Butter Solution, I think it's called.
The Peanut Butter Falcon.
Yes. That's a really good. He's really good in that movie. And then I haven't seen the one that he did based on his life, though. I haven't seen that one yet.
That was pretty good. Yeah, that was pretty good. Jay Edits says, I think that's what James Mangold likes to do. If you look at his, I love James Mangold. James Mangold, I've loved him since his first movie, Heavy, and I've followed his career. James Mangold is
his interview on the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast.
I haven't.
I'll try to find it and send it to you. He not only talks about Indiana Jones and making this new film, but he goes into talking about a movie that he was going to make, but it never got made. I can't remember which one it was, but he does talk about about doing Swamp Thing and how it was him. he called up James Gunn and said, "Look, would you mind if we could put Swamp Thing in there somewhere?" And he has a really great idea for Swamp Thing, but
Yeah, which I can't wait to see.
He doesn't want to do a world building thing. He goes, "I'm not into building universes. I'm into doing characters and stories." And that's it.
Now, see, like J.H. Edis says, Mangold is good at telling stories about those kinds of characters. My favorite couple. He is a master class auteur. I mean, he is an excellent writer, excellent director. I mean, he's had multiple Academy Award nominations. His 2 last films were nominated for Best Picture. And that's why I was so disappointed, because he took a year off to rewrite. Yeah,
he said the script didn't have anything good in it, and so they gave him, Disney gave him, and Lucasfilm gave him that year it's only a year to rewrite this.
Now here's the thing: is that's why I was so disappointed in it, because I thought it was going to hark back way more with the same themes and same kind of tone as Spielberg. And I thought the dialogue would have been a lot better, but then again, we don't know. Disney, he may have had a really solid, great script, and then Disney had all their mandates, and he had to change it to fit Disney's mandates, which sucks. Yeah, I mean,
you know what? As a matter of fact, Mangold brought up Copland because he's doing. Right now, he's making the Bob Dylan film.
Yeah.
And it's Timothée Chalamet playing Bob Dylan. And James Mangold got to hang out with Bob Dylan. And Bob Dylan said that his favorite film is Copland. And it blew James Mangold away.
Copland is fantastic.
It is. It is one of the most underrated little films that you would never expect to see De Niro or even
Ray Liotta.
Stallone,
man. Stallone is phenomenal in that movie.
He is. And Stallone has some pretty good little underrated films. Like, one of my favorites of his is called I See You.
Yeah, that was good.
And I really liked that film.
Yeah, and he put on weight for Copland. And then he got it off. Let's see. J.H. Edis says, "What did you think about the opening sequence of Dial of Destiny?" Okay, I think it would have been a lot better if it wasn't so heavily relied on CG, because you could tell it was like they were in front of a green screen on the top of that train, and the CGI was just, you could tell it was all CGI, which is, when you look at something like Dead Reckoning, Mission Impossible, compared to that action sequence on the train of Dial of Destiny, Dead Reckoning looks much better. It looks more realistic.
Dead Reckoning was actually done on a moving train.
Well, except for, it had some CG in it. I mean, you could tell there was CG in it.
They, from what I hear, he really did fight on top of the moving train. I'm like, geez. I mean, Tom Cruise is someone who really puts it out there.
Yeah, and here's the thing: is like Disney owns Indiana Jones now. Disney loves using modern technology to no end, and so I'm thinking James Mangold probably wanted to do as much practical effects and shoot practically as much as possible, but Disney's like, nope, we're going to do it all CG. So a lot of the movie felt like to me that everybody was in front of a green screen and all the stunts were CG'd. I mean, the part where Harrison Ford jumps from one car to the next, you could tell that was a CG character when he jumps from one car to the next.
Well, so actually, no, there is a stunt double for him, and I just saw this online today.
Well, of course, Harrison Ford didn't do it. He's 80,
it was a mask that was made of Harrison Ford's face, and it is so creepy, and it looks just like him.
Yeah, but they used. I mean, you can clearly tell CG was heavily used during that scene.
Well, I mean, you're not going to expect an 80-year-old man to do the jumping.
No, but you could do have the stunt man do the stunt. without using CG. And then the whole car chase in Dead Reckoning is what I wished that car chase in Indiana Jones would have been like.
That's a great car chase that's in it. Which, by the way, folks, when you see this car chase, it's not only smartly and brilliantly done, but it is really funny, and it's done in a way that is not thrown in your face. It's not too heavily on jokes, but it is very smartly done, and I really liked that scene. That's the scene I couldn't stop thinking of, and then the scene at the end I couldn't stop thinking of, and I think you know what I mean. It's not the fight on the train; it's the other sequence. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but
yeah. JH says, didn't they?
I had to stop myself because I knew where I was going with it, and I had to stop myself because they would have spoiled it.
Oh, okay. JH says, didn't they build an entire train for that one? With Dial of Destiny, I think it was half real and half CG. But yeah, I mean, especially when you saw it on a huge IMAX type screen, you could tell there was so much CG in that movie. And I actually have an editor friend. His name is Tyler, and he helped edit that movie, did post work on that movie, and he said that film is just littered to the brim of CG work. JH for Mission Impossible 7. Yeah, they didn't build an entire train, but they build most of it.
And that train sequence is fantastic. When you see it, it is fantastic. It is out of this world. It really is. And like I said, you know, Tom Cruise, he likes to do these stunts 6, 7, 8, 9 times just to get it right. He's always saying, well, we could do that better.
Yeah.
You know, and it's mostly you'll have an actor and a stunt person, but it's Tom. And it amazes me that this man can get insurance still to be on a film with the things that he does. Because they filmed that, and I think everybody's seen it now, the bike sequence where he goes off of the mountain. That was the first day one shot that they did. Because Chris McQuarrie said, well, if it doesn't go right, at least we'll have a very short movie.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's why these movies are so expensive too, is because the insurance for Tom Cruise on those productions are through the roof. I mean, it's expensive because of that's another thing that people don't think about is these $100, $200, $300 million movies. You know, it's not just making a movie, but you have to think about the insurance on especially for someone like Tom Cruise that refuses to have a stuntman for most of his stunts. I'm sure he has a stuntman for some of them. But yeah. Tom, I'm sorry. My back is starting to kill me, and that's fine. I gotta wrap it up.
Irene, thank you for being on.
Oh, you're welcome, man, and thanks for inviting me. And I want to say, Irene or JH Edits, I do some live shows as well from time to time. So if you guys want to come over and help moderate, because I think Irene moderates for your show sometimes.
She does. She's a great moderator.
Yeah. So give me a follow, Twin Flicks, and yeah, because I need a moderator because sometimes I have some people on there that come on and try to stir up some stuff. Anyways, guys, thanks, Tom, for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And I'm sorry I kept you on for so long. You know, next time, just let me know how long you can be on and we'll schedule it that way, you know?
Yeah, sometimes it just depends on the day. Sometimes I can go an hour and a half. Sometimes I can only go 45 minutes. It just depends.
That's no problem.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I'll catch you later, and we'll definitely do this again sometime.
All right. Thanks for coming.
See you guys later.
All right, folks. That was Twin Flicks. You can see his thing right there. So subscribe to his channel. I want to say tomorrow at 1:05, I will be doing another live stream where, you know, it won't be the Funko Friday, but it'll be what the live stream was supposed to be today. I didn't want to do one today because it was so hot and I just wanted to take a break because I knew I didn't want to do two in a row. What's coming up tonight at 8 o'clock on the Burnett Network? On the Burnett Network at 8 p.m., it will be Catherine Cook and RM, and they are going to be discussing Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. They're going to do their review of it. So if you want to see it, come by and watch it. Check out Ray Lytle's Morning Disaster. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it on Facebook. Or you can go to morningdisaster.net. And what is that show? What time zone? Okay, I'm sorry, Hidden. It's 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific for the show tonight with RM on the Burnett Network. My show tomorrow will be 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. I think that's how it goes. Let me see. 12 is 9. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. Yes, 10 a.m. Pacific. I'm not good with math. I'm sorry, folks. But if I would describe Morning Disaster to you, it is this. Ray Lytle, which, by the way, Irene and I both love this show. It's like a morning drive time show, but it's very, very funny. It comes from Illinois, Chicago, Illinois, and Ray has a sidekick or a co-host that you want to call him named Steve. And if you really want to know why you should watch the show, here is the reason why. Steve got himself locked in a car once. Oh, but what happened, Tom? Well, he was locked in a car for 6 hours. How was that? Because Steve didn't bother to check the other 3 doors. That is the kind of hilarity you will find on morningdisaster.net. It is hilarious. It's a great show. Check it out. Check out the Burnett Network. Rob had just posted his posted a little teaser for the first of his 10 and 20s that are coming out soon. What else? And subscribe to Positive Fandom. And after the sequels, Maria Espino's channel, where she's not only making one Star Wars fan film that's animated, she's doing 3 and a television series as well. So, folks, please check them out as well. Come back tomorrow, 1:05 Eastern, 10:05 Pacific time, right here on the channel, right here on the big show, and we will do this all over again. But this time, I got some great things to discuss, and it'll be fun. And I enjoyed taking all your comments and questions. And by the way, if you want to write a letter to the show, please send your letters to Tom's something email 69 at proton.me. And we will read your questions on letters on the air as well. So I want to thank my lovely assistant, my best friend, my partner in filth there, Irene Jobson. Thank you very much for being a moderator for the channel. You're wonderful, my friend. Just wonderful. JH Edits, thank you. The Hidden, thank you. I want to thank RM. She's not here, but I always like to thank her because she's a good friend to the channel. She's a supporter. She's a friend to me as well, and co-conspirator, as I like to call her. No, she's a collaborator, co-collaborator. And we have lots of fun doing what we do. And I'm so glad that you all come. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share the channel. All my shows are in a, what do you call them? Playlist. And also, before I end the show, just know, if you want to order Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, it is now up for pre-order on Amazon. And I believe it's either later this month. The Flash is coming to Blu-ray as well. So until next time, folks, I am, as always, your host, Tom Jr. Jackson. This is the best damn show on the internet. Make no mistakes, this is the original. And until next time, folks, please remember, we are all goof people. And until next time, bye-bye for now.